Well, I'm in Falmouth, UK, Cornwall to be precise, and this is the capital, almost the worldwide capital, I would say, for bluefin tuna. And the reason I'm here isn't for ice cream or Cornish teas, oh no, we're here for the 2025 Bluefin Tuna Championships. Over the last few years, the tuna fishing in this part of the world has just been getting better and better and better. There are huge numbers of fish coming in really close to shore now. Now, of course, when you've got that sort of facility in front of you, lots of people want to try and catch them. And previously, there have been regulations against fishing, but angling and conservation have been working hand in hand to try firstly to study the fish and secondly work out whether it is A, viable and B, conservationally possible to successfully fish for them. The answer is yes, and the culmination is the first ever Bluefin Tuna Championships. We have got 25 boats heading out for 2 days, possibly 3 depending on the weather conditions, with a view to catching 6 tuna each day. Now 2 days will count, and the biggest 3 from each day will go on their score sheets. The winner, well, they will be the boat that catches the biggest length over the days allocated to them. What does it mean to be in this event then?
Quite a lot. It's we sort of watched last year. We didn't participate last year, but this is it's a real deal. Yeah, it's a big mark for British angling, particularly for the tuna fishery.
Andy, tell me, you ready for this?
Extremely ready. We fished it last year. It was amazing last year. We were the only 3 privateer boats last year. A whole bunch more private boys down there this year. This is what I like. Charter boats, one thing. The private boys coming down, doing it from sales. That's what really gets me excited with this one.
Will, the big day is here. How are you feeling?
Excited. Absolutely. It's been a few years in the making. We've got some amazing fish out there. I was practicing last week, and it's incredible. The washing machines of fish out there, but nervous as well because I'm up against some really big players. This is not my local waters, so yeah, let's see what we can do.
Some very big fish out there to be caught, yeah, and lots of them. We're blessed in Cornwall. The influx of tuna in massive numbers has just been fantastic, and it's attracted a lot of attention. And we're keen to do it proud.
There's a good bit of friendly competition around as well.
Oh, there's definitely some good rivalry. We all know each other, so like socially, it's not just the fishing with us. A whole bunch of mates are down here, so there's definitely some rivalry going on. Of course, everyone's open with what they're doing, but at the same time, there's definitely some sneaky things going on which haven't been revealed in the tackle department yet. Yeah.
It's the early hours of the morning, September 2025, Falmouth, England. The teams are carrying out their final preparations before they head out into the Atlantic in search of bluefin tuna. The sport recently has been pretty good, but a storm passed through the area in the days before this event. The weather hasn't been looking good and will challenge the teams in their hunt for glory. Nerves are starting to show in some of the boats, quiet confidence in others. There's a lot at stake here. Big fish, big titles, and of course, big kudos. It's time for the teams to slip their lines and make their way to the start line. The games are about to begin.
It's a real landmark event, so I think we stand a really good chance of laying history, and we're really proud to be part of that.
So this is it, the start is upon us. The boats are lining up here. We're in Falmouth Estuary. 25 boats starting out for the Bluefin Tuna Championships 2025. I tell you what, they warned it was bumpy. It is, and we're not even out there yet. This is going to be a really interesting day. Start is about to take place.
Go, go, go.
With the start underway, the boats headed out into the Atlantic Ocean in search of fish. The rules allow them to travel up to 20 miles offshore. They can travel up and down the coast as far as they like, but they have to be back at Falmouth for the end of the competition at 6 o'clock. Within a few hours of the boats leaving port, the first reports of fish started trickling in. It was rough out there, but the tuna were feeding if the boats could find them. Wasabi were early to trouble the scorers on day one.
Well, we're alongside Wasabi and we've just seen them land a fish, and they're just going through the process now of getting their bars and rigs back out in the water. There seems to be a few fish in this area. There's been 3 or 4 boats that have caught, but so far through the course of the day, it's been pretty tough. I've got to also say it's been pretty rough as well. The seas are fairly lumpy, and that will be affecting how these guys can fish. It's a choppy all day out here, but fish are being caught, and it's a great start to this tournament so far. Like we say, Wasabi just behind us, they're now on the board, and it's all to play for. Well, we're just alongside I'm Hooked at the moment, and as you can see, they are indeed hooked up. 2 fish caught in a very close proximity to each other, within probably 1 mile. Of course, the boats have a 500-metre exclusion zone around them. We as press boat are allowed to get a little bit closer just to see what's going on. And you can see the gentleman there on the left-hand side of the boat. I can't quite see who it is. We can't get too close because we don't want to interfere with this, but it looks like it's a good fish.
Well, you can see just how choppy the water is getting now, as I'm Hooked try and control the tuna and bring it close to the boat. It's been landed okay, but of course it won't count until it's been successfully measured and recorded. Eventually, with good helmsmanship, the boat is turned so the fish is held in calmer waters. The team measure as the captor looks on in awe at this incredible creature. No sooner had that fish been returned than our radio crackled into life to let us know that Wasabi were in again. 2 fish in quick succession would put them right up the leaderboard, and you can see the skill of the 6-man team there, controlling the fish, recording it properly and releasing it to fight again another day. So, one of the success stories of what we're doing here is seeing how angling and conservation work together hand in hand. And I've got a lady here that is on the conservation side of things. Lucy Hawkes, lovely to see you. Exeter University. Tell me exactly, what are you studying and why?
We've been trying to understand more about the biology of these amazing fish, because they are incredible. When you think about wildlife in Britain, you don't always think about us having such big, amazing, kind of pretty sexy fish, right? But we do. And I'm an animal tracking person. I love attaching devices so that I can understand the private lives of these animals, what they get up to after we let them go again. And so what we've been doing for the last 7 years now is using a variety of different types of tracking tags to find out more about who they are, where they come from, where they go, and what exciting stuff they get up to.
And it's really important for the species and the future of the species for us to understand them, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. We need to understand how many of these fish we have, where they go, what important bits of their lives are undertaken here in British waters. And over 7 years, we've tracked 161 Atlantic bluefin tuna from here in the UK. And we do that using devices like this. So this is a satellite tracking tag, and we attach this to the fish. It stays attached to the fish for a year. We've done some for 2 years actually, and every single day we get a location to understand where the fish was, how it's diving up and down through the water. And so we've got loads of different stories to tell based on this data. Fish breeding, fish travelling into really cold waters, bluefin making it halfway across the Atlantic and then actually coming right back to here in Falmouth again.
It's amazing, isn't it? And this is a perfect example of angling and conservation working together as well. You know, both of us are on the same side. We love the fish. And it's probably fair to say that without angling, it would be very difficult for you to put these tags on these fish.
Yeah, definitely. When we started working on bluefin tuna, the key thing that we needed was be able to get hold of bluefin tuna in the first place and get them in really good condition. So to do that, we needed really skilled anglers and skippers to help get us close to the fish and catch them in really good health. These tags, by the way, are really expensive. Like, we're talking $4,000 a tag. So they're incredibly expensive. So you want to make sure that your fish gets kind of VIP treatment. So we needed the best in the business to help us find the fish and catch them.
Absolutely. Well, look, it's a success story that will continue because the research will continue. The more we know about these fish from both sides, the better it is. And I just think it's absolutely fantastic. There's some lovely stories which maybe we'll tell you another time.
So one of the tactics we use when we're tuna fishing is we trawl spreader bars. These are to mimic a shoulder fish up on the water that the tuna, when they're feeding, they corral bait up to the surface. So this is trawled out the back of the boat. Trawling speed 4.5 knots is sort of like the golden number. What you've got here is flanks of squids on the bar. We have a 400-pound centre line, which is where most of the force is taken. And on the bottom of it, we have a stinger. So there's no hooks on this part of the bar. It's literally to put disturbance into the water. These run at different lengths off the back, between 6 to 10 foot. I like 10 foot. And then we just go for a different colour or a different size. So it looks like the predatory fish or the injured one off the back of the pack. And this is the one with the hook on it. So it's 400 pound all the way through. Some of them you can have as a directional bird. So you have a rudder on them up here. And what that will allow is when you shoot it out the back of the boat, that rudder will pick up and it will kick it out the prop wash. There are other bars where you don't have that rudder and they will just run straight out the back of the boat. Pink is a very popular colour. You get them oranges now, the blues, blacks. On those really bright days, we prefer a darker colour. On those like murky water days, that fleck of colour going through the water. So yeah, spreader bars.
We're on board with Squidward 3 now, and you can see they're hooked up into a fish. This is where the crew all work together, and you can hear Luke on the rod calling to the skipper to control the boat and make sure the fish is kept under control at all times.
Yeah. I'll tell you when I'm ready. No, it was only... No, I know. Right. Right, zip grips on. Zip grips are on. Perfect. Right, let's get the rod out of the way. Right. In gear a little bit. And I'm going to I'm taking this off now. Lukey, I'm unhooking this. No, that's it. Yeah. I want this rod out of the way. Right, he's good now. Right, let's get this fish T-bar next. Right. Yeah. Set. You need to lift your fish up. It does. Yes, I've done that. Right? So this. Oh, no. Problem is, go on then. You want to hold him out? That's it, it's as good as I can get. That's perfect. That's brilliant. I think now. Perfect. 76. Yeah. Right? Yeah. I've got 76 fish there. Get it. Yeah. Take that. Tell us when you're ready. See you later. You ready? Ready? There you go. Just run on this side. Well done, mate. Oh, come on then. Yeah. Get in! Oh. Come on.
Now then, most of the time when we're fishing, it's pretty sedentary. We're sitting down either on a box or a chair. Lovely. Carp angling, you know what, I'm lying down a lot of the time too. Big fish, as in when you're playing a carp or salmon, barbel, you're standing up. Tuna fishing, completely different game. For a start, the ground's moving, isn't it? Obviously it's not the ground, it's the boat. So there's a bit of movement, and also the fish are huge. So there is stuff that you've got to wear, and I've got some of that on now. Interesting system this. 2 parts, pad on the front, waistband on the back. That is about as far as I know at the moment, but with me, I've got a man that does know about these things. Sam, firstly, thank you for having me on board. Yeah. I've never worn one of these before.
So this is a fighting belt,
Yep.
a pretty standard, popular fighting belt. We do have different varieties for different techniques,
Yep.
but this is our sort of go-to fighting belt, which is in a 2-part piece. One around your upper waist, that's your what we call the pad,
Yep.
and then you've got another one above that, which is your back support.
Fantastic. If I turn around here, be careful where you're looking, people. There's a really nice back support. I've got to say it's quite comfortable, like a saddle to be sitting into, and then pads underneath here, so that sits down. And basically these things are that big and that strong that it's called a fight for a reason, you know? Let's have a look how the kit goes into it. Everything attaches on.
Yep.
So
we
there's
would have
clips on the
these,
side.
We'd have these clips out like this.
Yep.
Like that. You would hold your clips.
So you're not really holding the rod, are you?
No. See, when we've got a fish on, the fish will be on here. I'll walk up to you. I put the rod in. You attach the clips.
Clip on.
The fish is screaming off, so now we have to
tighten them up.
Tighten them up. Make sure you're nice and comfortable and square. It's very important that you're square, and now you're in position to fight the fish.
So, leaning back into it.
Yeah. So
you're not doing anything with your hands, really, are you?
No.
Apart from reeling, obviously. But on this side, the rod is completely and utterly
so I can pull you. And that fish. That fish will do that.
Yep.
Which is why you lean back and squat.
Fantastic. So, pretty fit. How long can a fight last?
Anything from 10 minutes to an hour.
Yeah.
We try not to go over that hour. We've worked hard to try and stay under that hour. For fish welfare. But the average fight, I'd say, is 15 to 20 minutes.
That's a long time, especially if you're not used to doing it, and there's an awful lot of pressure going through that end of a short stick, isn't there?
Yes, it's 15 to 20 minutes is a long time when you're a guy on the rod. You know, it goes quick for us, but when you've got that pressure, and it is constant pressure, it's tough going.
Yeah, mega. Well, hopefully we'll be seeing quite a few of the competitors leaning into these at some stage through the course of the event. Brilliant stuff. So joining me now, I've got one of the event organisers. This is Tim McPherson. Tim, this is an incredible event you've organised here.
Oh, it's amazing. I mean, we've got 25 boats, 100 anglers, and it's just, we're in the tuna capital of Britain. I mean, Falmouth is the most fabulous place to hold a tournament like this. And, you know, there are a lot of fish out there that we're hoping to catch, and we've got some of the best anglers in the country fishing in this tournament. We've got people from Switzerland, we've got people from Scotland, we've got people from America, South Africa. It's brilliant, and you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing what the results are of the tournament and what fish we're catching. And you know, as I speak, we've already had a fish bigger than last year's biggest fish, which is fantastic.
It's such a buzz. Like the buzz last night was incredible. There was loads of people really enjoying themselves. You could see everybody's really friendly. Buzz is exactly the right word, isn't it? There's a great ambience around this too.
Yes, it's fantastic. I mean, I love the idea of bringing all these anglers together with all their experience and their knowledge, and you know, just sort of communicating with each other and learning from each other. And of course, one of the biggest things about this tournament is we've got all these anglers catching these fish, but we look after these fish, and fish welfare is at the top of the tree. So they're not just catching the fish, they're making sure that the fish are okay. They bring them alongside the boat and they recover them, and then they release them.
Well, it's been a real success story seeing conservation science and angling working together, hasn't it?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, since the fish first appeared, anglers have been working with scientists and the government, tagging fish, finding out more about exactly what the fish are doing, where they're going, and you know, and their behaviour, and making sure that we, you know, as anglers, are behaving responsibly towards these beautiful fish. And I can tell you that is exactly what's been happening in the last 2 years during this fishery, and particularly during this competition.
Well, there's an awful lot of them around. There seems to be more and more and more coming, and they're offering a fantastic opportunity to people that want to go out and catch them.
That's fantastic. And when you go out on a boat, you know, trying to catch a tuna, and you see this bust of fish jumping out of the water, attacking bait fish, it is one of the most amazing experiences. And of course, all around it, you get whales, you get dolphins, you get birds. It's a fantastic nature experience as well. Of course, you know, the business of actually catching the fish.
So with the clock quickly approaching 6 o'clock, the boats had to make their way back into harbour before cut-off time. One or two came in early because of the rough seas. Others stuck it out to the very end, knowing that just one more fish might make a huge difference. With the scores checked, the top 10 at the end of day one looked like this. Forever Young at the top of the tree with a magnificent 226 inches, that 85-inch fish giving them a huge advantage. Second, and not too far behind, was the experienced Squidward 3. Third would see Eloise of Ladram heading up the chasing pack. Remember, it's only halfway through and there's still plenty to play for, but not all of the teams had enjoyed a relaxing day.
Now, we all know that tuna fishing is the pinnacle of sport, so we've got some other sportsmen that have come along to have a little bit of a go. Gentlemen, how's your day been?
Very good fun. Yes, we caught one fish amongst us all, so we got off to a high start.
I spent the majority of the time in a bed. It turns out I'm not great at sea, so a bit of firm ground is good for me, I think.
Did you know this before you went out, or is this a new thing?
I remember a stag doing Ibiza and I felt a bit poorly, but I thought that might have been a few beers, and it seemed to have repeated itself today, so I blame Dean Richards. So
it's always good to blame Dean Richards.
Yeah. I also blame him for the doner kebab. And beer and doner kebab is not a good idea going sea fishing.
What, just before you went out? You're a very brave man.
Actually, it's his fault.
Well done. Gentlemen.
Yeah, I'm with the same situation. You know, it's been a lot of time getting rid of what we had last night, and didn't do much fishing, but it was enjoyable.
Yep. But Dean, it is all your fault.
Yeah, it is. You know, I had a great meal last night. Topped it off with a few ciders and a doner kebab at about 1 o'clock, and and today's been brilliant. I've loved it. We finished the day well with one fish between us, didn't we? The two of us. The three others were just downstairs having a bit of a kip.
It's been a very tough day out there, isn't it? It's been lumpy, let's say.
It's been a little bit lively today. It's been against us. The conditions have been against us, I think. So we've done all right. I think out of the 20-odd boats, 28 boats, I think there's only 7 or 8 boats caught. So, yeah, not the easiest of days, but tomorrow's another day.
So, 3 fish today.
Yeah.
Really good start. Yeah. How's it been?
Yeah, pretty happy with it for day 1. Obviously, day 2 to come tomorrow, improved conditions. Fairly challenging out there today. Obviously, on quite a small boat compared to some of the charter boats, but yeah, gave it our best, really. Yeah, we got our 3 fish in, which kind of, we said today if we get 3 fish on the board, that was kind of obviously the aim. We caught 3, just the 3, so we just got what we needed. But yeah, it wasn't a lot of surface activity today, so you had to work a bit harder to find them. But yeah, I think it was really just varying techniques until we found something that worked. And then in terms of size of fish, we had a 70-inch fish, a 71-inch fish, and an 85-inch fish. So I think 85, still some scores to be put in for the day. I think it's the biggest fish of the day. Quite happy with that. Sometimes you put in spreader bars, you tend to find smaller fish, so definitely happy to get one bigger fish on the board. I think that puts us top of the leaderboard for today. And yeah, try and do the same on day 2.
Day 2 competition day is here, and there's a lot of ground to be made up by those that didn't catch yesterday. 3 boats caught their allocation. They're sitting very, very pretty. But of course, there is plenty of time ahead of us. The day is a completely different day. Where are they going to go? Well, we know where the bundles of fish were yesterday. They're all on the start line. The chances are there's going to have been discussions last night. They know where these fish are. They're going to be heading in that direction. It's game on. And there we're looking at our current race leaders. That is Forever Young. A huge fish of 85 yesterday, coupled with 2 other 70s, puts them on 226. Now, in anybody's money, that is going to be huge for 3 fish, but of course, we've got another day ahead of us at the moment. Just looking across at the Wasabi boat there, sitting 5th as we go into Friday's session. 134 inches on the scoreboard, 2 fish yesterday. Big crew on that boat as well, good at handling fish in rough conditions. So it'll be interesting to see if they head straight out to where they saw the fish yesterday. Eloise of Ladram, currently again 3 fish on the board, 173 inches there. So 3 decent fish. Whether that will be enough to keep them up in the top 3, we will see later on. But another team that know where the fish are, they'll be heading out again. I was talking to Kev Knight off that boat earlier, and he said he lost a couple of fish too, so they certainly have their tactics in place. But the fish size there, ever so slightly down on those of the leading 2, Squidward and Forever Young.
5, 4.
This is where it gets exciting.
3, 2, 1. Go, go, go.
you have got to love a racing start. One of the most exciting parts of this event is when everybody's on the start line, they call it off, and thousands of horsepower head out into the ocean after tuna. This is such a good event. It's so exciting watching it, let alone being in it. My word, what a day. Well, that is a very, very interesting race start, because our current leader has held right to the very back to let everybody get out of the way. Now, I suspect that's tactical, because he knows where the fish are at the moment. I'm sure other people do, but rather than getting involved in the race and have everybody follow him, he's just letting them get out of the way first. Either that or he's got an engine problem. But I suspect that he's just letting everybody get out of the way. So we're just steaming out to where we went yesterday, and on the way out we've seen something that we think not a lot of other boats have seen. And if you look just over my shoulder, this is a bust. There are literally hundreds of tuna just behind, feeding on a bait ball. You can see the birds in the air, you'll see the fish crashing out of the water as they're frantically feeding on the bait fish below them. And there's one boat that's in the area just behind. We haven't seen exactly who it is yet, but there's another group of fish over there and another group of fish over here too. It's incredible seeing this. It's a feat of nature, it really is, and it shows just how good these waters are now, attracting so many fish in. Interesting too, there's dolphins with them as well. It's lovely seeing all this wildlife in one place. And I'll leave you with a view of what it is as opposed to my words. This is just magnificent. Well, we've got a bit of a bust going on in front of us. I've got Sam with me at the moment. Sam, let's just talk about the tactics now. They're very clever at the moment. They're circling around the outside, aren't they?
Yeah, so they pulled up to a bit of a what we call a bust. Loads of fish feeding, lots of fish jumping out, plenty of birds around with them. So what they've done is they've got their spreaders out the back. I think they're using two on this boat, and they've gone through once and nothing. They've gone for a second time, nothing again. So we're just seeing what they're gonna do.
It must be frustrating for them, because it's incredibly frustrating for us sitting there at the side watching it, thinking any minute now there's going to be a huge hookup, an explosion of water, but actually it doesn't seem to be happening. So the fish are there, they're clearly feeding because we're seeing them do so, but they're not hitting at the moment. But you know what, there's still fish moving out there. It wouldn't surprise me. Just whipping around the sides, quite an interesting tactic. You know, if they do go straight through the middle, there's a risk they'll break the shoal up, it might spook them, they'll move away. But by just picking off the edge, or picking them up off the edge, which is what they're doing now, they're just turning that corner at the moment, and there's fish probably just 50 metres off their left side.
It can be really frustrating when you go through them. You can go through a dozen busts in a day, and sometimes they're just really switched on to what they're feeding on. Sometimes they're feeding on the tiniest little, like, baby sprats and things like that, and they really don't want to touch what you've got.
A 12-inch long bright pink piece of
that's
plastic.
it. Yeah. So sometimes they just want to play that game with you, but you'll pick them out in the end. But sometimes it's a long game.
And it was indeed a long game. We sat there watching for a while, but it just wasn't to be. Elsewhere, the other boats were struggling too. Kraken on the lookout for fish, Tequila touring round on the hunt, and eventually we came across the race leaders Forever Young, and they were trying surface baits as opposed to towing. So this is our current leader, Forever Young. Interesting tactic with this one at the moment. You'll see there's a yellow float, a ball out on the surface, and underneath they'll be bait fishing. They're just fishing, I think, 2 rods at the moment. And this is a real nice big fish tactic, but Andrew Alsop, that's in the wheelhouse there at the moment, he is an expert at this sort of fishing. They use this tactic a lot for shark, blue shark off the coast of Wales, and it's a very, very good tactic for picking up big fish. Now, they've already got a nice lead. They've had their 3 fish yesterday. They caught a big one, over 85, and this will be a tactic they're looking for. We've heard from other boats around the area that there are groups, but there are also individual solitary big fish swimming around.
So one of the other tactics we use is top water fishing. This is my setup. So this is a popper. This works on the surface. There's a few different ways of doing it. You can have some sinking slow plastics and speed jigs. This one in particular works across the surface of the water. Big swooshing action on it, puts big smoke bubbles coming out the back of it. In our fishery, you can fish with 2 hooks. They like us to only fish with 1 hook. We rig this one up on the back. 190mm popper. We've got a Benjamin knot on here. We have a swivel down to a split ring. So as you're going through the day, you want to chop out colours, all you got to do is undo your split ring, off you go. Our leader on here is 250-pound fluoro, FG knot onto 130-pound braids. And this is my go-to setup. It's one of the most exciting ways of fishing for tuna. It's a very visual thing. You can see them coming up as you're working that lure back. You can see the takes up on the surface. It's become one of my favourite ways to target bluefins now. So yeah, top water fishing.
As the scores started coming in by the halfway mark on day 2, we had a new race leader. Zephyr had taken the top slot. 2 fish on day 2 added to their 2 fish on day 1 gave them a total of 251 inches. Eloise of Ladram added fish to their tally to reclaim second, knocking Forever Young back down into 3rd. With only 6 fish recorded in the first half of day 2, it was proving to be quite tricky despite the improving conditions. All to play for though, and to coin a well-used phrase, there was still plenty more fish in the sea. Out on the water now, interesting situation developing. We've got a big bust of tuna in front of us. One of the boats, Eloise, that's currently second, have seen it. They've been working the area for a while. There have been fish here now for about an hour, but they've been quite quiet. But there's a bust just developing and they are steaming straight through it. This could be a really exciting hit now. They're going straight for it. Normally they would just go around the edge, but this has just developed literally 200 or 300 metres in front of them. You never know where these fish are going to come up from. You never know how many they're going to be and how aggressively they're feeding, but certainly there is a chance here now. And this is it, folks. We are live by the side of Eloise. Fish on. No. Oh, he's just lost it. He has lost it. You can see there how distraught he was. He's just reeling in now for another go. Arms in the air off the skipper, off the top. And that will be a huge disappointment. They know how important that fish is. So it's a case of getting the sets in and back out as quickly as possible. Fish in the area and other boats too. One of those other boats was tuna gear. And it's not always bluefin tuna that get caught. Just take a look at this. This is an incredible sight. This is a baby porbeagle shark. Now it just goes to show how rich the waters of the English Channel are. These creatures grow up to hundreds of pounds. Now it doesn't count in the competition of course, but it was worthy of a photograph because we quite simply don't see them very often.
Okay, so welcome on board Smartfish here at the 2025 Blue Fin Tuna Championships. I just thought I'd go over some of the tech that we've been using and how we find fish. So first and foremost, the best thing for finding our fish out there are our eyes. So we're looking for bird action first of all, and the right species of bird. So the tuna are feeding and pushing up some of the whitebait that are coming to the surface, then the birds are coming down and feeding on that. So that is our telltale sign that there's fish there. However, I also use some of the technology that we got on this boat to assist me. So I'm running radar that is spinning, looking for birds. I can use the radar to find the birds. I can also use it to find other boats. If they're sort of congregating in an area, that will also tell me that there's potentially fish there. I'm then using obviously my depth sounder, my fish finder, looking for the trails of the fish, bait balls underwater, because sometimes in the rougher conditions they might not surface so much, but you can see the fish feeding underneath, and when we're going over we're wanting to raise those fish up to our attractors, towing off the back of the boat. So some of the things I'm also using is and looking for are contours. on the seabed where currents will run, which are likely areas that bait will congregate, again resulting hopefully in the bigger fish wanting to feed on the bait, and then we will catch the bigger fish. Some of the other things I can also use on this boat are thermal cameras. So we have a FLIR camera on here, but I can also see the heat differences in some of the birds. That will give me that they're diving into the water, especially if they're further away, just out the eyesight.
So running alongside Blue Fin now, and they've been towing for quite a while in this area. There's a few fish around, but seem to be showing very, very sporadically. Pink squid looks to be the attraction for them here, and you can see the bars being pulled just behind the boat, creating a little bit of spray. They're running 3 bars, but it's been a very, very quiet day so far. Same sort of thing happened yesterday. 4 or 5 fish through the course of the morning, then it went quiet. Back end of the day was when it picked up, and I'm sure all of the crews are going to be looking for action now, hoping that this afternoon will be a repeat of yesterday. So alongside Zephyr now, and you can see they're hooked up, and they have had an absolutely fantastic day so far. The last fish they caught put them into first place, and this one will cement that lead even further. Big fish by the look of the angler, just leaning into that, holding it steady, waiting for confirmation from the marshals, but we believe that if they do land this one, they'll be the first boat to land 6 fish. On board with Smartfish now, and just listen to that reel. It is melting off. These things go so quickly that sometimes the best thing to do is just let them take their first run before you take control.
The
fish can move so quickly sometimes that when they're swimming towards you, you think they've come off.
Huh?
But often not everything is as it seems. The fish is still on.
Okay, right down. Yeah. Can go. Yeah.
You can see just how intense it is on board when there is a fish on.
Okay, lip grips, out the way.
Concentration is at absolute maximum. With the fish safely to the boat, the next thing to do is hold it for a while, take a photograph and release it.
Ready?
Yep.
Okay, let's go. Boy.
Alongside Blue Fin now, another team that have had an exceptionally good day today. They've worked their tactics out. Back end of the day, these fish are starting to play the game, and this is an important fish for them. They started the day in the top 5. They could do with a couple more fish just to challenge for that first leader slot. Fish quite close in now. You'll be able to see the pink lures on the bar come up any minute now. Anxious moments again. This is where that fish needs to be brought round the side. It's about 4 or 5 yards off the back of the boat. Skipper's on it, gloved up, ready to grab the bar. Just a little bit of control as they turn that fish and bring it alongside. Decent sized fish that as well. Decent sized fish. So you see the grip. This is what the anglers use there. They'll put that into the mouth and just pinch and hold that bottom lip. No damage caused. Of course, all of these skippers have been trained through the chart program to understand exactly how to handle these creatures. He's just been really gentle. It's like a strong finger and forefinger and thumb, just holding that there. Now they'll bring the loop for the tail, hook out first, and that's how easy it comes out. So fish unhooked, hanging on the grip. Perfect way of looking after these creatures. They'll just get the tape measure out now. That fish, of course, just having a little bit of recovery time. It's like any long distance runner or sprinter. Bit of effort, might be a bit out of breath, but we all have a breather and we're ready to play the game again. And there is the tail loop. That will just be looped underneath the tail to lift it. Doesn't go through the fish at all, in case anybody's wondering. It just lifts the tail up there so we can see it, and that fish now is fully supported. The measure of that will be from the mouth to the fork of the tail. All eyes on the fish now, just making sure it's all ready to go. They'll keep an eye on that. Couple of minutes breather. Pull it back up just to check it. And there's a quick release trigger that you'll see there now. One quick release trigger on that. Let the fish go and off it goes back to swim and fight another day. Catch and release in perfect performance. Well done, gentlemen. You can see arms in the air. Big cheers. Great result. And that was it, the last fish that we saw of the day. There were plenty more to come in. And speaking of that, everybody then had to make it back to the port and find out what the scores were. So that's it, all done. Tuna Championships 2025 has now finished. We don't know the results yet. There's a bit of a social this evening. The presentation is tomorrow and the results are being kept quiet. But what I can say is this has been an incredibly successful event. There's been an awful lot of fish caught, there's been some friendships made, and of course, there's been some brilliant sport. So at the end of day 2, this is how the story ends. Forever Young take the title with 2 fish on day 2 to add to their 3 fish score on day 1. 365 inches, including the biggest fish of the tournament. Second place goes to last year's champion Sam Narberth and his teammates on Bluefin. Another 5 fish return for the incredibly consistent skipper. 346 though just wasn't quite enough. And the final place on the podium goes to the early leader at lunchtime on day 2, Zephyr. They actually managed to fill their card of 6 tuna on day 2. But, of course, it was only the 3 biggest that counted, and that added 186 to their previous 129, making a total of 315. Elsewhere, there were plenty of fish caught and a very, very impressive top 10. The spoils, however, and the title of 2025 Blue Fin Tuna Champion go to Forever Young. Well, here we are. It's done, dusted. We have the champions. It's got to feel good, mate.
Yeah, it feels really good, you know, especially in the conditions. Coming out with Rob with the little boat, and I thought we were a little bit mad, first of all, seeing the forecast, but, you know, it is what it is. But, yeah, it's a buzz, to be fair.
And not just 1, but 2 trophies as well.
Yeah, so first overall and biggest fish. So I think, yeah, that biggest fish was our first fish of the competition. Had that midday on the first day, and we thought, you know, hopefully that's going to be big enough to take that prize. Will we go and catch 3 fish each day? We didn't quite manage that. We had 3 fish on the first day, 2 fish yesterday, but yeah, thankfully just enough to pip it overall.
These big fish do make a huge difference though, don't they? Talk us through the days as well, 2 very, very different days.
Yeah, they were. So the first day we didn't see any fish on the top until our way in. Battling 3.5 4 metre swells. It was a fairly rolly sea, challenging a small boat. So we just stuck to live baiting. We did have 1 fish on a spreader bar. The rest of the fish had to come on live baits just because we couldn't see fish in the area. They were there, but they were deep. Yesterday, I think everyone expected improved forecast, flat seas, to be fish everywhere. Still wasn't quite the case for us. All our fish yesterday came on spreader bars and lures. So live bait didn't work so effectively yesterday. We went out with a game plan. We had to change it a bit. We went back to where we caught fish the day before. They weren't there. So 12 o'clock yesterday, we didn't have a fish on the board, and we were thinking, was yesterday a fluke? Are we going to manage it again today? But yeah, got 2 over the line. Not the 3 we'd hoped for, but yeah, it was just enough.
How does it feel to be the 2025 champion then?
Yeah, it is amazing. I think, like we said, we came down here for a couple of reasons. To meet friends that we've made previously, to make new friendships within the Blue Fin Tuna fishing game. It's an amazing fishery we've got here. It was a chance to, a couple of days away with some good friends, some good food, drink, a bit of socialising, obviously some fishing, and I think we've definitely surpassed what we expected from this event. Huge credit to the organisers as well. It's a lot of effort to put something like this on, and I think they've done a fantastic job. I think this event is going to grow year on year. I think you can be really proud of the couple of days they've had.